How's it going? Dave from Comic Book Investments. Well, last week I did 5 keys that are dropping. So this week I'm gonna do the opposite. These are 5 keys that have been beating their peak prices. And what do I mean by their peak prices? Basically making all-time highs. Many comics in early spring through early summer had a massive boom and just had ridiculous numbers. And a lot of people think, oh, the bubble is popped, it's going down. No, these are books that are continually making record-breaking prices. So let's take a look at these 5 keys that are still making record prices. All right, first up, we got Nova number 1. In a 9.8, the previous peak was $2,470, and one just recently sold for $25.75. That is a 4% increase, and that previous peak was back in May. So it's still going up, and if you look at the graph here, you can definitely see up in the top corner that during spring and early summer, you had a massive peak, and then it went back down, but then it's going right back up again. That's because there's speculation that Nova is going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and maybe they'll make him his own series. There's just a lot of rumors going around that Nova is going to be something special. All right. Also, we got a 9.4 sold back in May for $4.90, and recently it sold for $5.27. That is up 8%. A 7.5 sold for $1.70, and now sells for $1.80. That is up 6%. So pretty good. Not a huge jump, but still going up, which is good. All right. Next we got is Moon Knight number 1. A 9.8 recently sold for $13.50, and the previous peak was $1,075 back in June. So, it's been like 4 months or so, and that is up 26%. A 9.4 sold for $250, and a couple months ago, its peak was $247. It's only up 1%. And then here we have a 9.2 selling for $200 recently, but its peak was $220 back in May, so that's minus 9%. And the reason why I'm putting this on this list, it has one that went down. I just think that this is a good book. With the release of the Disney Plus TV show coming out soon and the trailer, it's only going to go up from here. Yes, this might be, it didn't really reach its peak, but trust me, this is just the beginning for this Moon Knight number 1. All right, next we got Fear 20. And this is when Morbius kind of started his own solo series, so to speak, and he appeared in Fear. A 9.8 recently sold for $1,800. Its previous peak was back in August for $15.99. That is up 13%. A 9.4 recently sold for $400. And back in April, it sold for $320. That is up 25%. A 9.0 recently sold for $200, and its previous peak was $180 back in July. So that is up 11% from peak to peak. All right, next we got House of Secrets 92. This is the first appearance of Swamp Thing. I love this cover. This is such a great cover. Bernie Wrightson, primo. Anyways, so a 7.5 recently sold for $3,000. The previous peak for a 7.5 was back in 2019, January of 2019, and that was $25.50, and that is up 18%. As you can look in this graph here in the top right, you can see that way back when it peaked, and it's been going down, down, down. Now, why did it peak way back then? It's probably when the TV show came out. I personally haven't seen it. It's been on my list of things to watch, but it got canceled. It wasn't canceled because it was terrible. It was canceled because some money issues, it cost too much to make or something. All right, a 6.5 recently sold for $25.50, and back in May, it sold for $18.75, so that's up 36%. A 5.0 recently sold for $15.50, and back in July, sold for $1,500, up 3%. So as you can see with these books, they might take a while, but these are beating the peak. So overall, this book is pretty much going up. All right, last one on this list is we got Vampirella number 1. It's kind of older book. A 6.5 recently sold for $13.50. Back in March was the previous peak of $9.59. So from peak to peak, that's a 41% jump, quite a lot. A 6.0 recently sold for $10.75. Back in April, it sold for 800. That's up 34%. And then a 4.0 recently sold for 800, and that's previous high was back in May of 2020, and it sold for 391. That is up 105%. As you can see, it's been a while since that book sold in a 4.0, and especially with these like older books, they don't sell as often as say like a Spider-Man 300, where there's like 20 a day that sell. So these are a little older, take a while, a little longer. But anyways, I hope you like this list. Feel free to subscribe and hit that like button, and have a good rest of the weekend.